Hello, thank you very much. I'm Nicolas Rempulski. I'm CTO in Ubidreams. We are a web and hybrid application development enterprise, and I will present you with Clément Escoffier the Nanoko project, our OW2 project, to build and run application based on web technology. Nanoko project is still a young project. We released the first version 9 months ago on Valentine's Day. We since updated the project to add new features and so on, and we have a different roadmap to enhance this project. This project is funded by Ubidreams on one part, by Dynamis and Grenoble from Clément, and Tech Arts from Jonathan in Vietnam. The main purpose of Nanoko project is to industrialize web development. Web development today are based on a triptych, which are HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript. Our purpose is to bring this technology to the kind of industrialization we can see from Java, C, or other technologies that are used for a long time. To introduce Nanoko, I have first to introduce the challenge we have to face in a web development environment, and then I will let Clément explain the solution we bring with Nanoko. The first challenge we have to face is the aggregation of technology. As I stated, there is three main technology, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but there is also a galaxy of technology surrounding these three technologies. The question for a developer, when he has choose the technology he wants to use, maybe Bootstrap for the UI, maybe jQuery for some modification of the DOM in the client, maybe some CoffeeScript to have a nice syntax around JavaScript. What is, once he has choose his technology, how he can bring into a project and bring it to the industry of his enterprise. How can he, in a project, use CoffeeScript and use CoffeeScript in a continuous integration environment? This aggregation is at the runtime. I put as an example Bootstrap, but it is also in the packaging, because the web application today are on a desktop in a navigator for sure, but now they are diffusing in other area. We begin to see hybrid application, which are native application on mobile device, but coded with web technology and with a native part of the application have access, for the native part of the application. So there is one part, the three technology basis on the web development, and there is the whole galaxy of other technology. How we can bring this in synergy and how we can bring this together. This is our first challenge. The second challenge is how to reuse the JavaScript code that we produce. Indeed, today, I want to say state of the art of the project and code reuse is I go to my old project, I see the code I need to reuse, I copy and paste in my new project. There is a library, for sure, JavaScript libraries that are a start of utilization of code, which are functionalities that are well reused in project. But for an enterprise which to reuse this code, how can it achieve it, and how can it really reuse this code? An enterprise has also the need to handle the life cycle of this component, to handle the version. Today, how am I able to state which version of a library I used in my project, which version of my component use which version of each libraries. Finally, we need also to state the dependencies between our code and internal code or external code. I state here in my example, if we do an Ajax component which rely on jQuery, for instance, maybe my first version of this component rely on the 1.x version of jQuery, but the next release 1.1 of my Ajax component release on, rely on the second version of jQuery. So how am I able to state it? And the purpose behind this is how a month, 2 months, a year later, am I able to reproduce my build and to redeploy my application. So with these 3 challenges in mind, which are a sub-part of all those challenges we have to face, I could also add the quality of code in web development. How can we bring web development to an agile development state? We propose Nanoko as a solution. And I will let Clément present you the parts.
So our solutions are pretty close to what I just presented about OSGI. The main idea of Nanoko was to reproduce what we had in the OSGI Java EE environment, so more the Java side, in the web development. Because when we saw how web applications are developed, it's like crafting applications. How could you be sure, how could you ensure quality? How can you be sure that you can reproduce, rebuild the very same application as you delivered it 6 months before? With all the techniques you see in web development, it was more or less impossible. So we decided to mimic all the technologies, all the methodologies we have on the Java enterprise side, both OSGI or Java EE or .NET, for web development. So we focus on 2 things. The first thing is the build process, very, very strict. No application should should shortcut this build process. We rely on Maven, we will see that later, and we aggregate most of the tools used by web developer. The second thing is a runtime model. We believe that web applications, as any other application, can be built on top of components, but those components need to deal with services, allowing substituting part of the application by other part, and so is your evolution, integration, and so on. So first thing, it's a Maven plugin named Coffee Mill. I changed the name a couple of times, but now the official name is Coffee Mill. It's fully based on Maven, because I believe that Maven can be really used for web development. When you are developing an application with Coffee Mill, you have the regular Maven structure, so everything is like you have on your Java application, but it will really compile, analyze, run tests, and so on for your web code. For example, you are developing some JavaScript library. You can now add unit test, integration test, and so on, and they will be completely automatically run while you are compiling while you are building your projects. Obviously, this can be done on a CI, on a continuous integration server, on the cloud or not. You have inside, so you have support for most of the web technology. So we have support for Coffee Mill, for Dart, for JavaScript compilation analysis. We have quality tools like JSInt and lint. We are compiling the style sheet, Less, Compass, and so on. We are analyzing the CSS too to enforce the quality of them, so to be sure that there is no wrong code and so on. We are doing image optimization for free, so it's just there. You just compile, Maven clean install, everything is automatic. We are running tests using Jasmine. We are doing the aggregation, minification, encryption, and so on. We are running integration tests. We are creating artifacts. We are managing documentation, and so on. Everything in a purely regular Maven build. Nothing new for Java developers. They just arrive, Maven clean install, that's it. But remember, most of the web developers are doing something that we would love to do as a Java developer. You did something, save, refresh your browser, and it's there. We did it. We did it based on Maven too. So you run a special Maven goal, which I don't remember the name, watch mod, and you editing your files, JavaScript, CoffeeScript, CSS, whatever, HTML file. You save, you refresh your browser, and it's there. Everything is behind the hood. Everything is in background, and you don't have to bother about relaunching Maven again and again and again. So actually, we are mixing the robustness and the strict build process from Maven with the productivity that have web developer today. On the client side, on the runtime side, we have Ubu. It's a service-oriented component model, so it's like what I present with OSGI. It's a bit like OSGI in JavaScript. So same thing as earlier in the afternoon, we have components and we have a registry. And components are not bound together directly. They are looking inside this registry and getting reference, and when the components are available, they can bound to that. Dynamism is managed. If a component cannot provide this service because the connectivity is disturbed or because it's not eligible for this framework or for this browser, or the user has turned off the geolocalization or whatever, it's verified and you can dynamically reconfigure the application for free. It's really free. So Ubi is developed using Coffee Mill, of course, and is now used by lots of companies, or dozens of companies, like Equinet in Vietnam, in Japan. It starts to really take off. Well, Nanoko is available on the nanoko.org website, and all the sources are hosted on GitHub. We have also CI and so on, so just go and visit the sites and feel free to ask any question. Thank you.